people are debating, is it better than Biden Athasa? I mean, it comes online a lot earlier, but it's not nearly as definitive to draw cards as Biden is. So we'll see if military intelligence makes an appearance in this tournament.
That is the most Sam Black card I've ever seen.
It really is, yeah.
And I believe that is military intelligence that's showing up to the party right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if him and the Pantheon are working on cracking that code. Erik Smith's going to play an Overgrown Tomb. Looks like he's going to come across here for one. No red mana just yet, but a backup Elvish Mystic here for Smith. Again, near top 8 2 weeks ago when we were in Worcester with Infect in the Legacy portion before being dispatched in the quarterfinals. He's going to play an island here, and it looks like he does have a Nightveil Spectre, so he will deploy the 2/3. The Smith will quickly untap. Number 17 on Open Series leaderboard, able to catapult himself because he also top 8'd that Legacy Open 2 weeks ago when he was playing Esper Deathblade.
And draws a red source. Now he can actually cast a... It looks like he's going to lead with Xenagos, and he can actually uptick it to still cast the Elysium Mortars in his hand if he wants to take out that Nightveil Spectre. Let's see how much he values it. Obviously, getting rid of Devotion is very important.
May have some more interest, I believe, we'll see, of overloading that card. Because Xenagos will provide the red mana moving forward, and Nightveil Spectre can't get the job done on Xenagos this turn. So that might be where his head's at. He's just going to make a Satyr token and just simply pass the turn back here. So Nir's going to draw a card. Not sure if he found the 4th land or not. It doesn't look like he did. Multiple copies of Master of Waves in hand, but unable to deploy.
Some military intelligence, basically not really doing much this game. But again, Biden Athasa probably is not doing very much either. So let's see, can he hit a land?
There's a charm.
Golgari Charm. If he could only cast that.
a little ways away. Nir looking at a copy of Thassa in hand. That would be live, does have the necessary devotion. That can also help smooth out the draw. So there is the God of the Sea. He will put a die on top of his deck to make sure he does scry. Stormbreath Dragon the draw here for Smith.
So yeah, he can choose to make a Satyr and just Elysium Mortars the Nightveil Spectre and attack for 6, dropping JD down to 19. JD doesn't really have that much in play. I think you just want to kill Nightveil Spectre at this point, especially with the Thassa in play. Looks like he actually do both. So yeah, he has Stormbreath in his hand as well, so he can actually cast Stormbreath too if he uptechs, I believe.
Yep.
That'll generate 3 mana, 4, 5. Yep.
Don't see the Xenagos elevator go up too often, but now's a pretty good time.
Yeah, it's a really useful second ability that I think people don't use nearly as much.
Smith's build, I'm taking a look here if there's anything kind of unorthodox. He does have, actually, yes,
Ooh.
He does have Soul of Shandalar.
And that's what we're seeing right here.
All right. Okay, big man, you're not quite Inferno Titan, but you're not bad.
Soul of Shandalar, one of the new M15, the Soul Cycle, I guess, basically. Every color has a 6-drop. People are kind of comparing them to the Titan series. Not quite as good as the Titans. I think WotC kind of learned their lesson, but each of them have different abilities. This one has First Strike, and then you can actually pay 5 mana to deal 3 damage to target creature or player, but you can also exile them if they're in your graveyard. Yeah. So and to do the same ability. So each of the souls have similar abilities where you can use them when they're in play or exile them from your graveyard.
I like playing one of these in the deck just as one of, not because it's good, because who knows if it's good, but it's a good time to find out.
Yeah, if you're going to find out, it's going to be the first week. I mean, this is where I think you have a little flexibility to kind of test out cards. You're going to be playing against a lot of decks that are probably not fine-tuned as well as they should be, probably. But either way, this is probably the opportunity for you to kind of test out all your theories.
Yeah, I like just taking the time to, it looks like Erik cut like a Pulachronos for one of these. Just let's see if this card's good or not. And I imagine it's probably worked out okay for him thus far. You see Mastro is going to come in along with 3 elementals, excuse me.
So let's see here. Xenagos, if it upticks, can generate 4 mana currently.
There is Ultimate Price. So bye Master of Waves. Looks like Xenagos is going to uptick. And there's a Stormbreath Dragon. That's a pretty good turn. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. JD is at 3.
Which is precisely as much as the soul can deal.
Interesting. That's neat.
So we might actually see our first soul kill this round.
JD's looking at a Cloud Raptor. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and
not sure he wants to.
In all likelihood, JD likely concedes before that happens. But see what JD wants to do here. He
Let's have
plays
a
a second Master Veil.
I mean, he does have a copy of Rapid Hybridization in his hand, but that's not really going to save him. He knows that, and he's going to concede the game. So Eric Smith is going to win game number 1 here over JD Neer. Judd Monsters up a game over Mono Blue Devotion. Looked pretty dominant that game.
Yeah, not much that JD could have done there. Came out really too slow, and Erik had enough removal and ramp in order to kind of make up for JD's tempo.
One thing there, military intelligence didn't really do very much, but as you mentioned, if that were a Binding of Thoughts, it would have done less. Yeah.
And in general, this matchup's not where you want a card like Biden or military intelligence. It's really, honestly, military intelligence is probably better in this matchup than Biden is. But again, either way, that card's not really what you want against a deck like Judd Monsters.
Take a look at the sideboards here. You've got JD's in front of you. He'll be on the play, so we will start there.
So he's got 1 copy of Rapid Hybridization, which again is another card that he definitely needs. He's got 1 copy of Claustrophobia, which I guess I could see coming in as a way to tap down Stormbringer Dragon, but it's not ideal. 2 Ratchet Bombs, 2 Negates, 2 Jace Memory Adepts, 2 Domestications, 2 Dispel, and 3 Gainsay. Really not a lot for this matchup. I've seen some people bring in Domestications just as a way to steal a Courser, because that card can be really good, but really not much he wants in this matchup. I'd say the Hybridization is probably the main card. In his main deck, he's got 2 copies of Military Intelligence. That's probably the worst card. Polymorph's Jest obviously could be useful. Everything else is pretty good. So yeah, I'd see probably the Claustrophobia and the Hybridization coming in for 2 copies of Military Intelligence. I could see maybe bringing in Negates just because cards like Ultimate Price or Golgari Charm really can be very problematic. So having Negates as a way to counter that could be good. But again, he doesn't have that many cards he wants to take out. Really, Military Intelligence is probably the worst card. Maybe Galrider Sliver. So if I'm him, I'd probably just bring in a Hybridizations and 2 copies of Negate at most.
Take a look at Smith's side here. 3 Mistcutter Hydras, well, that's an easy place to start. Those are going to come in. 2 Nihilius Disciple, Golgari Charm, Garruk, Apex Predator. See, he knows.
He knows.
Who knows? I like that. 2 Putrified, Doomblade, Amizian Mortars, a Chandra Fire Master, 2 copies of Rakdos Return, and a Scuttling Doom Engine, which is a card we actually haven't seen any yet today.
It's a 6/6, right?
Yeah, 6 mana, 6/6. When it dies, they lose life. I think it's a sweet card. I think it's actually a card that's going to end up seeing play quite a bit more than I think we expect. I think it's a card that people haven't really got their hands on yet to see exactly how good it is, but I expect to see more of this card. Of course, can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, so it works its way past Elspeth, and when it dies, it deals 6 damage to the opponent. I like this card a lot. Outside of Mistcutter Hydra, which is really easy to bring, and I expect to see the Golgari Charm come in. Of course, it's an answer to Master of Waves, like the Doomblade as well. Some number of Putrifies potentially. You can make an argument for Chandra Power, Master of Mortars, stuff like that. But I mean, that's pretty straightforward stuff that we've seen Judd Monsters do against Mono Blue for some time now.
Yeah, it's got a lot of good cards. Like Mistcutter Hydra obviously is a very good threat against Mono Blue. Plus, you have a lot of cards that can kind of help you with any kind of tempo race, like Nihilia's Disciple. Very good at kind of swinging the race back in your favor. And then obviously, Golgari Charm can be pretty backbreaking given the right situation. And then just more removal spells like Putrefy and Doomblade to take out Master of the Waves. So Judd Monsters, I think traditional red-green probably had a tough time, but the addition of black and having actually ways to kill Master Waves has definitely helped Judd Monsters kind of deal with this matchup. I played red-green Monsters at Grand Prix Louisville or Kentucky, and I did not have a good matchup against Mono Blue Devotion. I actually lost in the final round. Just because you don't have any removal spells that can deal with Master, really.
Yeah.
Polychronos is basically your only way. Yeah, their Goldfish is better. Although adding that black makes a huge difference. You know, Doomblade is great. Golgari Charm can be really, really good against them. So, yeah, Judd Monsters definitely has more tools to kind of deal with that deck.
As these players do finish shuffling up, if you guys are just joining us, we do appreciate having you. Cedric Phillips, Oslip Abadovich, Star City Games Open Series, has made its way to Baltimore at SCG Live, hashtag SCGBALT. For your tweets, you can also contact me directly at Cedric A. Phillips or you at Osipel.
Yeah, feel free to tweet us your questions, your complaints, your concerns,
or any ideas.
Any ideas you want to discuss.
Like your great movie idea earlier today.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to shamelessly thieve and sell.
Well, you said it on camera, so now I can sue you. And there's record of it.
Crap.
Who wouldn't see a Weird Science remake with Jarvis Yu and Ben Friedman as the leads?
Kate Upton playing a side role.
Kate Upton playing, oh.
A side role. Kate Upton could play maybe the main role. I don't know how the movie, I haven't seen Weird Science in forever, so.
I try to watch it once a month. It's that good.
It's sad because I believe you.
No.
Yeah.
There are a handful of movies I would probably watch once a week if I could. Like Real Genius. I'd probably watch Real Genius once a week. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I don't even know what it is.
You've never seen oh my, that's probably.
Is it old? Is it new?
It's old. It's
Okay.
an 80s movie.
Okay.
Real Genius is arguably one of the greatest films ever made by man.
Is
It's
it
that
better?
good.
Is it better than Can't Hardly Wait?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Nope. No way.
I know it's hard to say, but yes.
No way. Jennifer Love Hewitt in her prime. There's no way. Come on. Cloud from Raptors
Yeah.
coming across for one.
Val Kilmer in his prime. I mean,
That's pretty good.
He's too good.
That's pretty good, actually. A Sylvan Caryatid's going to come in
So
for Eric Smith.
this is the exact kind of start that JD needed. He needs those flyers. He needs the tempo. And there's a Night Veil Spectre. So Cloud from Raptor evolves again. So exactly the type of start that JD needs.
One
Get
could
those
argue,
flyers out there.
if that were a Thassa, that would be the best start, but this is still a really good one. So nothing to be unhappy about right now if you were JD Neer.
Well, if he follows this up with a Thassa, that's probably ideal. Or even a Master Ways. I mean, just curving out. That's what you want Mono Blue to do. 1, 2, 3. You need to play on each of those turns in order to really take over games.
Ultimate Price is going to attempt to
Oh,
take care of
wow.
something. Yeah, Justice Familiar is going to
So
take care of that.
poor timing there for Eric. It
Yeah, I
looks
don't
like
love the sequencing, yeah.
Yeah, if he just cast it first before casting the carries, it probably resolves. But instead, he's going to take 4 now, dropping to 12, and then Night Veil Spectre gets a hit, and it's a land. So that could come into play if he hits a red card or a green spell.
Yeah, we don't know if he needs that land, but it can definitely matter. You know, Nier does have an island in his hand right now. Looks like he has a Tidebinder Mage as well. He's going to use this land, put it into play tap. See what the follow-up's going to be. His hand doesn't look great. I can't make out. I mean, I know there's a Tidebinder Mage over there. I'm not sure if there's counter magic or not.
Yeah, I think he's a little worried about maybe an overloaded Mizium Mortars now. Obviously, Eric has 5 mana currently in play, so overloaded Mizium Mortars can be very scary for JD. But nope, looks like Eric just has a Pulachronos, which again, still can be pretty good against Mono Blue. And he plays another land for the turn, so he does have 6 mana. Probably doesn't have the Mizium Mortars though. The question is, does JD have any counter spells? Doesn't look like he has any counters in his hand, and there's another land, so
We're on.
he has double green now,
Yeah.
so
It's showtime, folks. Gonna play an island this turn, though. Here's 2 mana. That's a Tidebinder Mage. That's gonna shut down Pulachronos temporarily. And there's still 3 mana available. Opting to play the island instead of the forest there, I mean, at least leads me to believe that he has a counterspell in his hand of some sort.
or at least bluffing one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smith looks like he's going to deploy a Courser. Top card, assuming this
Ooh.
resolves, and it does, is a Scavenging Ooze.
It's good with Night Veil Spectre. You know you're getting something sweet.
Yeah.
Something sweet that you can cast.
Not sure if Smith has a Temple or not. He does not. There's an Overgrown Tomb that's going to come into play tap, and Smith will just pass the turn back, struggling this game. Nearest draw, honestly, not really that great, but flying is quite the powerful ability.
Yeah, his start was good. Like, he got the flyers. Like, it's hard for Eric's deck to deal with flyers. So this is exactly the type of start that JD needed. And he's getting a little advantage off of that Night Veil Spectre. So, yeah, exactly the type of situation that JD wanted to start with. But again, it just goes to show you how powerful Eric's deck can be, because the top deck Mizium Mortars puts him right back into it. It looks like he's going to play. Nope. See what he wants to do. And this is great because the Courser's in play, so it gives JD a lot more information. So Night Veil Spectre is going to take the Scavenging Ooze, and now he'll get to see what the next card is. So if it's a Mizium Mortars, he can play around it.
Yeah, it's just
Because yeah, so now he pretty much knows what's in Eric's hand. He doesn't have to worry about it for the rest of the game.
Courser is, it's good, but there are some drawbacks.
Yeah, there's some drawbacks. So, and now you basically know that you're not going to hit a land for the rest of the game with Night Veil Spectre.
Yeah.
Or at least Eric has to be wary of playing a land off the top of his deck and
That's
potentially
true.
getting JD a really good spell.
There's Stomping Ground on top. Yep, Eric just puts that in play immediately.
Uh-oh.
Thanks for the mortars.
Thanks to the mortars. That's the thing you have to be concerned with. It's like, you know you're probably going to lose that card, so do you want to just give him a land?
Yeah. That actually makes for a really interesting game inside the game. Because he drew a land, But like when you're playing Courser, it's like, yeah, I obviously want to take the lands off the top of my deck and put them into play. But
Not when you're playing against Night Veil
yeah,
Spectre.
in this situation, I don't think that you want to.
I think you definitely leave it on top.
Yeah.
Just because of what you're facing. Like if you can't deal with Night Veil Spectre, you'd rather just give them. You don't want to potentially hit like a really good spell, which is exactly what happened. So, unfortunately for Erik, he's not only facing flyers that he can't deal with right now, but he's also got a Mortars on top of his deck. And it looks like, oh, I'm sorry. Erik does have enough to Monstrous. It looks like he has enough to Monstrous and kill the Night Veil Spectre now. 2, 4, 6. Yeah. So he has enough to kill the Night Veil Spectre. So that's potentially a way that he could have not have to worry about the Night Veil Spectre.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, let's go on tapping here.
But does Erik want to do it now on his upkeep before a rapid hybridization? Because if JD has a rapid hybridization, that plan won't work.
Rift too, something.
Yeah, a Rift,
something
anything.
else.
With the Monstrous on the stack. Or in response to Rabbit. So it looks like that might have been what Erik's plan was this entire time. But if that was his plan, I think he has to do it on JD's upkeep before he draws.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So let's see how JD wants to navigate this. He has perfect information basically at this point. He knows that he knows Erik had a Elvish Mystic in his hand because he saw it with the Courser. He didn't play it, which means, okay, he's probably going to try to kill my Night Veil Spectre this turn, so I should play accordingly.
There's a block. This would be a Monstrosity activation. 4-3, as you did mention. We'll see if it's good to go or not. Nier does pick up his hand here. Yeah, at least take a look at it, maybe bluff something, who knows.
Well, the good news is if he kills the Night Veil Spectre, then that means that his Tideminder Mage will stay into play.
He's out of here.
JD just couldn't handle it.
Sometimes the thing about Magic is sometimes it's just too much to take.
It's too much stress.
Yeah.
You just got to leave. You can't handle it anymore.
I can't believe you saw the Pulachronos activation.
That's really why I love the movie Real Genius, because it shows you.
Here we go.
It shows you how super smart people deal with stress. They throw pool parties. And I think it's really great. And here we go.
Oh, no.
He was asking the question, how does polymorph just stop a Pulachronos from killing my creature, basically? That's exactly what he's asking.
Now this is sweet.
So it looks like, yeah, it looks like everything is nothing's going to happen, and he's going to get that Mizzium Mortars. And I believe the Pulachronos is a 1/1.
Oh, that's sad.
So he could actually kill it, or it gets 3 counters, but he could kill it with the Mizzium Mortars.
Yep, he's going to take care of the Courser.
Yeah, no reason to, I guess, because it is tapped down. And now Erik's at 6.
So there was a story a little earlier today in the Ross Merriam told me about Polymorph's Just, where his friend Dylan Donnigan was playing mono blue, or he was playing, he was playing mono blue against Jund Monsters, and the opponent cast a Golgari Charm for -1/-1, and well, that's not good.
Oh, the jest.
Well, that's not a good idea. I actually like that card a lot against people who do go to G Charm. Golgari Charm is so popular now, and it's really getting its Master of Waves that you can actually just ruin someone.
Oh yeah, no, it makes total sense because like we said, we were talking about how good Golgari Charm is in this particular matchup, and if you have a Jest, then suddenly things are actually totally in your advantage.
Yeah, go ahead, give everything -1/-1. See what happens to you. JD gonna keep trucking along here. He's certainly in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah, and because the ooze is big enough to get around any Mizzium Mortars at this point. Or it can be, rather. And looks like he's going to attack in. Really nothing left to do.
Yeah, Erik's going
to go to 2 now.
Kyriad's going to die from the ooze being a 4/4. Top cards of the Golgari Charm. Oh my God, what if he's able to set up the combo?
Oh God, Polymorph's Chest and Golgari Charm.
And he charms off his opponent's deck. I'm just saying, best of SCG Live, book it.
All he needs to do is hit black-green land, and then
draw the one of
Golgari
Jest.
Charm.
Yeah,
and draw
charm
his
and draw the one
Jest.
of Jest. There's some assembly required.
There's some assembly. Not only do I have to hit one of my opponent's 2-ofs, I have to hit my 1-of as well. For any math majors out there, if you want to calculate the odds and then send it to us, tweet us at SGG Live.
Sure. There's an Elias Disciple. That's going to come in. It's going to gain a little bit of life. +5 is where Smith's going to go up to 7. He's still in a world of trouble. There's a Temple of Malice. Take a look at the top card. That top card looks like it's headed to the bottom. Yes, it is. That's turn back.
It'd be really sweet if he hits a green-black land with the Night Veil Spectre, and then he can play it, because then he'll have Golgari Charm protection against Misery Mortars.
Yeah, just for regenerate?
just for the hell of it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. I would be a fan.
So JD just lands and then Master of the Ways and doesn't really need more than what he has, though, so.
Yeah, everybody coming in. There's your block. There's your damage. 2, 4, 6. Smith's going to go down to 1. Take a look at the top card. There's an Elvish Mystic. Master of Waves, Night Veil Spectre, a couple of lands. It looks like JD has no interest in continuing to like deploy some threats on his board. Looks like he's like being a little careful just because of borders.
I kind of like playing Master of the Ways, though, because it can't die to mortars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at least you'll be able to do 1 point of damage, the last point.
Smith draws his card, and he has seen enough. So JD Neer is going to win game number 2 here over Erik Smith. Mono Blue Devotion and Jund Monsters are headed to a 3rd game here in just a moment.
Yeah, and Night Veil Spectre, not typically one of those cards that you think being really good against Jund Monsters, but it definitely was good in that game. Along with Polymorph Chest.
That was sweet. You know, just another insanely awesome card from M15. You know, of, the entire set, I'd say, over half of the cards are just awesome.
Yeah, and I think people, maybe they were expecting entirely new archetypes or, a lot of, like, 4-ofs, but the thing is, even 1 or 2 cards just making a deck's better. I mean, obviously, it kind of stinks that, maybe these cards happen to make the best decks better, like Mono Black, Mono Blue. But I don't know. I mean, you kind of like seeing those little sleeper hits.
Here's what I like about Polymorph's Chest. When you think about Mono Blue, their creatures haven't changed at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 28 creatures. Okay, maybe there's a Gale Rider Sliver, of Knife Siren, whatever. The spells was always the thing that was difficult to play around, right? But every time you play against Mono Blue and they have mana available, it's like, all right, am I going to play around a counterspell? Yes, no, decide. Is it Rift? Is it Rapid Hybridization? In some instances, Mythium Skin oftentimes is a blowout because no one's playing around it. Polymorph's Chest actually adds more to the equation. That's actually what I kind of like. If Mono Blue, you got them working in the mid game and they have mana available, oftentimes you were just like, can I beat Rapid Hybridization? Yes, no, maybe so. Same thing we said with Rift. Now you have to work Jest into the equation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really interesting, actually, for how games can go, because it's not like Mono Blue can play a lot of spells. There are some versions that have domestication, but now this adds a new wrinkle.
It's basically just, like the fact that that card exists, whether or not you play it, the fact that it exists makes things a little bit more complicated for any opponent of yours.
Seems like a really good one-of.
Yeah, I if only for the Golgari Charm scenarios. I mean,
Yeah.
I agree with you there. Plus, there's a lot of times where you're going to need to race a certain creature. I mean, you're a tempo deck, so a lot of times it could just come down to race. Being able to adjust could be like the key card there for a particular race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And even in the mirror, maybe it could be useful because it's a way to deal with Thassa potentially.
Now, military intelligence, I want to believe. I'm not sure I believe yet.
Yeah, I think there are times where I can see it being useful just because if you go 1-drop, 2-drop, turn 3, you're basically getting to draw cards sooner, which could be huge if it lets you draw into a 4th land. So it's a little cheaper than Biden, but the fact that it's only 1 blue as opposed to 2 blue is a huge difference because against control, a lot of times the way you can win is you have a Thassa, Jace, Biden in play. Those are 3 cards that they can't really deal with effectively, and your Thassa's attacking each turn, Supreme Verdict gets around, you can't do anything about that.
Think about how many times we see a board position, too, for Mono Blue against those control decks where they have Thassa, like a Frostburn Weird, and they need 1 more card to turn on.
Yeah.
If they draw a military intelligence, they're, ugh.
You're feeling terrible.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a Biden, it's like, this is amazing.
Yeah. And you get it on the table, you're just like, I can't lose.
Yeah.
So good.
And I've actually used the other side of Biden at times.
It comes up.
It does come up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not quite sold on military intelligence in this deck. I feel like Sam Black wrote an article where military intelligence was put to great use, where you can actually trigger it on turn 2.
Yeah.
That, I think, is great. However, I'm not quite sure I would just jam it in mono blue devotion.
I do like trying it, though. I mean, the swap here in JD's deck is very clear.
Yeah.
He subbed out the Bidens for military intelligence to try it this weekend. So I'm definitely all for that and seeing how good it is. I'd actually want to talk to him to ask him how good it was over the course of the day. See, Smith is going to play a Blood Crypt untapped. He's going to go down to 18. And this will be a little bit of acceleration and Sylvan Carry added. Cloudfin Raptor is what JD started things off with. He has a Frostburn Weird, so a little bit of evolution in for one we go. This is a really nice start here for Nier. We'll see what he's able to follow up on turn 3 in just a moment, but we turn back to Smith. He does draw a card for the turn. It's a Llanowar Waste. New card alert. Here's a Pulachronos.
Wow, so both players got the starts that these decks are known for. Right now, things favor Erik a little bit more.
Mostly because he's on the play.
Yeah, being on the play, obviously, allowing you to jump the curve is the main way you can kind of beat these tempo decks. But Erik still has plenty of options here. He looks like he has hybridization in his hand, which is a potential answer to Pulachronos.
Yeah, and gonna get that off the table now. So Frog Lizard will be incoming in just a moment, and there that is. You see the hand, there's a Mutavault. There is also Domestication hanging out. There's an attack for 1. Smith's gonna go down to 16. Now it's a Cloudfin Raptor.
And the main reason I don't like bringing in Domestication in this matchup is 1, there's not many targets. Obviously, he can take the Beast token now. But 2, you know your opponent's going to have Golgari Charm after board against you. So you can just get blown out.
You've already seen it, too.
Yeah, and you've seen it last game, so.
The situations where it's going to be good feel like few and far between.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I took a Courser, and it was just nuts for me. Like, that's basically what you're probably thinking, because what else are you going to take?
Right.
An Elvish Mystic?
Smith just did play a Temple and pass the turn back with a 3-3 ready on defense. Mutavault will be the land that Nier does play. Now here's a Thassa.
So great draw there for JD.
Yeah, going to evolve the Cloudfin Raptors now since that thing is a 5-5 when it comes in. Here's an attack for 3. Smith is going to go down to 13. And Smith isn't careful. He might be too far behind at this point. He needs to catch up very quickly.
Well, this card's certainly going to help him catch up if it's what I think it is.
Mortars, yep, that's good.
Yeah, this is really just the such an annoying card. A one-sided Wrath that always just seems so devastating whenever they cast it.
You got to work for it.
Yeah.
You do have to work for it. 6 mana.
They always seem to get there fairly easily, though. You know, you have mana ramp and you play a lot of lands, and a lot of them are scry lands. So, and I never feel like the blue deck is able to put enough pressure on you. You know.
So Nier's got some rebuilding to do. Thassa's definitely a good way to start that. But here's, and again, I agree with you. Domestication looking a little bit awkward right now.
Yeah, and he's basically playing. He's going to be playing this game like Domestication is going to help me when we both know that it won't. Like, we know what's going to happen. So it's going to be really awkward when he tries to set up a turn with a Thassa attack and it just nothing happens.
And taking that beast token, that frog lizard token, excuse me, is fine, but it's not really all that exciting. Smith is just going to play a land and pass the turn back. Going to take a look at the top card here.
Yeah, you need some card that can kind of turn your devotion on, yet can't get killed by, like Erik's got a handful of removals, so I'm not quite sure what JD can do here. Yeah, Cloudfin Raptor is not really going to help him. Although the good news is Erik just doesn't have any pressure on, so if he can just eventually get enough threats in play, maybe he can just overwhelm him. Unfortunately, I think one of those removal spells might be a second Mortars.
Yeah, the way that you want things to go right with Mortars is you cast it, you can start attacking, and they're not able to rebuild fast enough.
Yeah.
But that's not how things are going. Here's a Charm to take care of the Domestication, which means that Thassa is not really going to get the job done here with the attack because it's no longer on. Devotion is at 4, though, so it only takes one more for Nier to actually have Thassa get going. In the meantime, that thing can make creatures unblockable and all that good stuff. Now, here's backup Mortars. That's going to clear everything out of the way, so here's an attack for 3. Nier's going to go down to 14, but Smith has got to hurry.
Yeah, he's got to hurry. He's got an ultimate price in his hand, so he can deal with another creature, I believe. But JD's going to keep scrying, try to get into more powerful cards.
And there's a Master Waves. That's not a bad draw. It's not going to make a ton of tokens, but it's better than nothing. So 2 will come in, pass the turn back over to Smith, who does draw a card. Don't get a great look at it. There's the ultimate price to take care of the Master of Waves. Fire in there with the token. Nier's going to go down to 11. And now that is going to change some things.
That is Big Daddy, ladies and gentlemen.
Soul of Chandelar comes down. You're going to scry that card to the bottom.
Every once in a while, you get to see something really special.
And here's a big attack. That is a Polymorph's Jest, which is, you know, pretty adorbs.
Well, it's able to kill the soul right this turn, right?
Yeah, because it's a 6/6. It's going to go into a 1/1. The Mutavault can get in the way.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Erik can actually activate in response. So he'll deal 3 to JD, dropping him to 8. He'll take 1 from the beast or the frog token. So drop him to 7. And then he can exile the soul next turn.
Dude, I'm a believer.
That's not enough.
I'm a believer in the Jest.
The Jest was,
I'm a
yeah,
believer in the Jest. It's good.
It's been good. He needs a little bit more help, though.
You can't play a bunch of them, but it's good. Top card going to go to the bottom. Maybe a Nightveil Spectre to get a great look at that.
That would be huge. Nightveil Spectre would be a good draw there.
Just going to pass the turn back. Now, of course, the soul's in the graveyard, so JD's at virtually 4 right now. Whatever's life total is virtually 3 left.
If you'd like to sign up for one last side event, for one last standard order box, or legacy order
Yeah, so,
box.
and you can exile that creature at any time, I believe.
Anytime
so
you want.
He can actually try to kill the Mutavault prior to blocking, yeah.
Yeah, I like this. Yeah, 3 and 3, and now there's a rapid authorization. That's a nice play.
It's a great play.
Yeah.
Now I probably just block. I block the Elvish Mystic, right?
I think you kill that 3/3. I don't think you want to go any lower because like you're depending on what he goes down to. Because he went down to 4, he goes down to 3.
I guess if you're scrying, you can probably
Yeah.
find something bigger than a 1/1,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah, that'll work.
And there's something.
That'll work.
And
Courser.
Courser.
Scavenging Ooze, that's
Wow.
pretty good now. A lot of creatures have died.
But then again, if he can just turn on Thassa, Nightveil Spectre, let's see here. Yeah, so it looks like he's thinking about attacking.
I think you have to attack.
Yeah, just trade a token.
Yeah. Do you have to block?
Do you care about going to 2? You know he's got an Ooze on top of his deck.
I think that you can take 1.
Yeah, you could.
Not going to. That's interesting. Take a look at the top card.
That looks like a Thassa, so that's going to go to the bottom.
Spectre is probably the best draw. Now, there's some other ones that we're probably not thinking of, but I don't think this is one of them. There's just a Judge's Familiar. That's not one of them.
Well, again, anything that can turn on Thassa is fine, I think. You just need to turn Thassa on.
Master of Waves was just made unblockable, so that's going to come into the red zone. You see the life totals here, 3 to 7. Here comes the Courser. Ooze is so big right now because all these creatures are traded early and often in the game. Might be the best card Smith could have drawn. I mean, Stormbreath Dragon's probably the best card because it just would have killed him. So I guess maybe Ooze is maybe the second best card he could have drawn.
Ooze just makes the life race so much harder for JD. Yeah, so JD goes down to 1.
He's just going to go active right now. Get these things out of here, or at least see what creatures are available. 3.
So many creatures available.
4.
He just doesn't have enough mana. He's going to go up to 11. Wow.
Yeah, this changes everything. Because not only that, but that thing's a 6/6. That changes everything.
Yeah, and plus there's a Polychronos on top of his deck, so he can kill a Master.
Oddly enough, it looks like that in the mid-game here, even though JD Neer is the one doing all the scrying, Erik Smith was able to find the cards that matter.
Yep. Scavenging Ooze and now Polychronos, so he's getting some really good hits in the mid-game.
Okay.
All right, just doesn't have enough mana to make anything unblockable.
Yeah.
Though. You can attack with a flyer, though.
Gonna remove some more cards here. Now, if you're near, you have to like build up a board or a wall. There's a Putrefy.
Wow, he's just getting all the hits right here.
There's Polychronos. Gonna activate this. Looks like for 2. Shoot those down. He wants to get in the red zone. Get that creature out here. That means that elemental token's gone too. Thassa's turned off. This is lethal attack. That's going to do it. Erik Smith is going to win this match over JD Neer. 2 games to 1. Jund Monsters outdraws Mono Blue Devotion in the mid-game of Game 3. Even though Mono Blue had a Thassa, and our former Invitational champion, and Erik Smith, moves on to 6-1.
Yeah, it was 6-1. There's only 3 rounds left after
Yep.
this, so he's not quite there yet, but in pretty good shape to make top 8 if he could win a couple more rounds.
Doing well.